Yo, what's going on everybody? White Tiger 93 here, guys, calling the Tiger, and today we are back playing some more Wizard101. Today, guys, I have a video guide on how to easily get, use, and spend your gold in Wizard101 2020. No matter what level you are, whether you're level 1 or your max, which is right now level 130. It doesn't matter if you're a new player that has no experience, or you are a veteran player like me who's been playing for over a decade. Hopefully this guide will help you get gold very easily, no matter where you're at, how much experience you have, no matter where you're at in the game. So hopefully you do enjoy, and hopefully this guide does help. I will have timestamps up on the screen and in the description so you guys know exactly what part of this guide will be where. So just know that throughout this guide there's going to be 3 sections. Starting out with what you can use your gold on, how you can easily get gold no matter what level you're at, and some personal things that I recommend saving up for. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. There are 2 main currencies in Wizard101, gold and crowns. And while these 2 currencies make up for most of the things that you can buy with your in-game currencies in Wizard101, they have 2 separate spending functions, so to speak. For this video specifically, we're going to be focusing on gold. The first thing to note in Wizard101 is that there is a maximum amount of gold you can have depending on your level. For levels 1 through 80, you can have a maximum of 300,000. For levels 81 through 90, you can have a maximum of 350,000. For levels 91 through 95, you can have a maximum of 375,000. For levels 96 to 100, you can have a maximum of 400,000. For levels 100 to 110, you can have 450,000 maximum. For levels 110 through 120, you can have 475,000. For levels 120 to 125, you can have 500,000. And for levels 125 to level 130, you can have 525,000 gold as a maximum. As of right now, there's currently no way to store gold, but we'll be talking more about that later on in the video. Knowing that, let's jump into the game. So one of the first aspects I do want to point out of gold is that it kind of has a very broad spending value throughout the game. Starting out on Wizard101, you'll notice players all around you have different types of mounts from all around the game. While a majority of mounts are crown based, this is not the only way you can obtain mounts, which of course is one of the most significant aspects of Wizard101, because not only does it allow you to stylish your wizard to whatever theme you like, but it also efficiently speeds up your progress through the game. Now, while there is a big selection of things you can buy from the crown shop, most of it is crowns, but there are a few items here and there that are gold. So go into the crown shop, go to the mount tab, and click on permanent mounts. Scroll all the way down to a mount that can be bought with gold, such as the chestnut pony for example, and click on the gold tab at the purchase section of the crown shop. As you guys can see, there are a lot of mounts that can be bought with gold, such as the big cat mounts, the broom mounts, dragon mounts, and there's also the 7-day temporary mounts that can be bought with gold as well for the same 40% speed boost. So if you can't afford 50, 60,000, you can still buy a mount that will last you 1 week for 10 to 20,000. Having the ability to increase your traveling speeds by 40%, whether it's a temporary mount or a permanent mount, just know that there are a good selection of mounts in the crown shop that can really benefit you in the long run while making your wizard look even better. If you aren't a fan of any of the mounts in the crown shop, there are temporary 20% speed boost mounts that you can get from Prospector Zeke. He sells mounts in every world of Wizard101, and each world has its own little unique selection of mounts. So there is a large variety of different mounts that you can get from Prospector Zeke. Located in Old Town, Wizard City, the bazaar is the #1 shopping center in Wizard101. Players of all levels come to buy and sell from a list of thousands of items ranging from gear to housing items to pet snacks, reagents, and treasure cards. Another major part of Wizard101 is pets. There are literally hundreds of different pets that you can collect in the game. You get them from the hatchmaking kiosk in the pet pavilion, shops and vendors from around the spiral, the crown shop, or from hatching with other players. Pets not only stylish up your wizard, but they also offer the ability of pet stats. Pet stats can give extra bonus stats such as damage, resist, critical, etc. But it does take time and gold to hatch to the perfect pet that you desire. However, it's definitely worth it. Another major part of Wizard101 is housing, decorating, gardening, and crafting. Housing literally provides the ability to travel all around the spiral by giving you a spiral door right at the beginning of your house. All you gotta do is click on your house icon and it takes you straight to your house, where you can decorate with literally thousands of housing items that are pretty cool, but you also have the ability of a spiral doorway to get you from the different worlds in Wizard101. There are dozens of different castles that you can get in Wizard101. Some come with bundles, some you can buy from shops and vendors from around the spiral. There's a few that you can craft, and there's some that can be bought with crowns in the crown shop. However, most of the houses in the crown shop can actually be bought with gold. So there's a nice selection of houses right there that can be purchased from 80,000 to 120,000 gold just right there in the crown shop. Crafting is a side activity in Wizard101 that allows you to craft items using reagents found throughout the spiral. Crafting allows you to make some of the best gear in the game, as well as housing items, houses, and even mounts. Crafting allows you to craft mannequins to display your gear, as well as vaults that can help store some of your gear, seeds, and jewels. Gardening is a very significant part of Wizard101. A lot of seeds drop huge amounts of gold, as well as rare reagents and treasure cards, and mega snacks that can really help you out in pet leveling. Treasure cards are one-time use only spells that you can buy from different libraries around the spiral. These treasure cards can help you out with your questing and are the spells you use for the decathlon. While this guide will show how to easily get gold no matter what level you're at, no matter what world you're in, one of the main ultimate ways to get gold is to use this very famous method of battling two bosses in Vesterland, Halfang and Asric. These two famous bosses drop very valuable loot that sells for just about more than any other piece of gear in the game at the bazaar. They drop very expensive amulets that can really get some gold into your pocket. The more you farm these guys, the more loot you get, which allows you to build up your gold and use for a lot of different things in the game. Many ask which of these two bosses will be the easiest to fight or was the best to fight, and really that falls upon you to choose. Halfang is a storm boss with a little bit less health, while Asric is a myth boss that has Earthquake and a minion that does Tower Shield. However, Halfang drops an amulet that sells for around 8,000, and Asric drops an amulet that sells for around 10 to 12,000. Whichever boss is easiest to fight for you is the boss I recommend you farm. While these two bosses can be fairly challenging at levels 40 through 50, I definitely recommend remembering their names, as these two bosses can provide you with some of the most expensive loot in the game and will definitely be able to serve a good gold source as you become more powerful later in the game. Fishing can prove to be a fairly good source of gold, because not only can you fish at a lower level starting close to the beginning of the game, fish can also sell for a lot of gold, and whenever you catch a fish that is on the catch of the day, you can get triple the amount of gold. I would recommend getting into gardening, because not only is gardening available at a very early part of the game, but gardening also provides good sources of gold, as well as later on rare reagents, treasure cards, and even mega snacks. While I recommend that you use fishing and gardening methods no matter what level you are to get gold, because they are two very good sources of getting gold in the game no matter what level you're at, I will say there are certain places here and there that can provide potential good gold opportunities. From levels 1 through 10, I wouldn't necessarily recommend saying you farm a boss for drops to sell for gold. If you're interested, if you find a easier way for you to be able to defeat a certain boss in Wizard City very quickly, and you get drops that can sell for a little bit of gold at a time, that might be something you want to look into, depending on what bosses that you can fight easily enough. I would definitely recommend that you try getting into gardening and fishing as good, reliable sources to get gold when you start out or are currently level 1 through 10 in the game. For levels 10 through 20, while I recommend you continue working on gardening and fishing to build up good sources of getting gold, in Krakatopia there are different bosses in the Pyramid of the Sun, the Croc Sphinx, and the Tomb of Storms. Some of them are easier to fight than others, and some of them can prove to actually have very useful drops that can sell for around 1 to 300 gold. This is a very big selection of bosses that you can farm for. There are some bosses in the Hall of Champions, for example, that for me personally have been pretty easy to fight and have decently well drops so you can sell for a lot of gold. As well as in different places of the Pyramid of the Sun, you might find a boss that is easier than other bosses that might drop a piece of gear that can sell for a couple hundred gold. So I would definitely recommend checking out the Pyramid of the Sun and Croc Sphinx bosses to see if there's a boss that is easier for you to fight and that would be easier for you to get gold. I definitely recommend taking a look at that and seeing if that would be a good source of gold when you're around levels 10 through 20, maybe 30. When you get from level 20 to 30, a lot of the gear drops from bosses in Marleybone can be kind of similar at times, and there's definitely a lot of bosses that you could choose to farm for yourself if you have a preference on who you want to farm. When I was in Marleybone, I never really farmed very much for gold in Marleybone, but I would definitely recommend starting out with places such as Chelsea Court, because that is the first opening point into Marleybone. You might find that there are some of the bosses that you're able to work with a little bit easier to try to get drops so you can sell for gold. As you near level 40, you enter the land of Mushu, a wonderful lush world, and there's a huge amount of bosses that you can battle in Mushu. One of those bosses in particular that I used to farm for gear drops myself to sell for gold is Autumn the Quartermaster. While I don't know specifically if there would be a boss that you'd want to farm more than others in Mushu, I found that this boss was fairly easy to fight during my time, especially as a storm. and I feel like his combat style is a little bit easier to compete with compared to a lot of different bosses in Mushu. As you approach level 50, I would definitely recommend checking out the world of Wintertusk, as around level 40 is when you can start entering that world. It may be a little bit difficult first starting out around level 40 to get through Wintertusk, but it is definitely worth making your way, because you can not only are you able to reach the 2 bosses I described earlier that you can easily get drops that sell for a lot at the bazaar, but you're also getting a lot of XP that levels you up further, because even though the Wintertusk is technically a side world, there are pet quests that you can do in Wintertusk, and it definitely provides a lot of levels that can help you get to a higher level and prepare for the main quest line. But when you're near Dragonspire, fishing kind of takes a more powerful turn, as you really start to get to one of the more difficult fishing quests in my experience. However, the fish in Dragonspire seem to sell for a decent amount of gold as well, so if you are able to get some good catches in Dragonspire, I definitely recommend checking out fishing. When it comes to battling different bosses in Dragonspire, a lot of them have variable different loot rates, and there's not really a specific boss that I recommend battling in Dragonspire, but definitely working on getting to Wintertusk, getting to those final 2 bosses I was just talking to you guys about for the really good gear drops, while getting experience to get you a little bit faster in the main quest line. Fishing in Dragonspire I think is perhaps a pretty good way to get gold at this level. As you reach levels 70 through 80, as you near 100, you'll notice in the worlds of Safari and Avalon, gear will start selling for a little bit more at the bazaar, allowing you to get a little bit more gold than gear previously did. As you approach levels 100 through 120, worlds such as Polaris and Mirage will start having a bit more side quests that offer gold rewards instead of experience rewards, which gold rewards can actually give you a fair bit of gold if you decide to do them. Finally, in the world of Mirage, you'll notice gold from battles as a drop itself, separate from what you get from gear. Gold tends to be a little bit higher in terms of how much is dropped per battle, and then a lot of the gear you get from Mirage can be sold at the bazaar. Not all of it can, but some can, and some of that gear can get you a fair bit of gold as well. I noticed there are a lot of Mirage wands that sell pretty valuable as well, and there are a few minions here and there, a few different bosses throughout Mirage that you can actually farm for couch potatoes as well. I don't know the entire list offhand, but there are some bosses that you can get a fair bit of gold. You can get a lot of stuff that you can sell for gold, and you can get couch potatoes from different bosses all around Mirage. However, when you get past levels 40 through 60 and onward, I really do recommend that you farm the 2 bosses, Halfang and Asric, as they are 2 of the most well-known bosses for dropping gear that sells for the most amount of gold in the game. And to conclude this video guide, I would like to share some of my own tips on how to manage your gold, and some of the things I recommend you save gold up for, and some of my personal favorite uses of gold. If you have any tips, whether you're a new or experienced player, make sure to comment them down below, and I would love to see what all of y'all guys have to say about how y'all guys manage your gold in Wizard101. However, a few things I recommend: a couple of must-buy items, for example, is the Backpack Butler. The Backpack Butler allows you to look into all the items on one specific wizard, whatever wizard you're on. It'll allow you to look through your bank, all of your houses, your backpack, etc. It is nothing but a big categorized list of everything you have in the game, which really helps you find out different things you're looking for. If you put a certain wand up in a wall in a castle but you don't remember what castle it was, if you put a mount down in a castle you didn't know where a mount was, if you can't remember if you put something in a bank, you can use the Backpack Butler to find that item. Another must-buy item that I recommend is the Daily Assignment Token, as I call it because it looks like a token. This item allows you to view your daily assignment's progress and your current daily assignment, so when you're heading on out to do whatever wizardry business you have, you can view your daily assignment and your progress without having to go to Ravenwood to check with the scientist to see what your progress is, which makes doing daily assignments a little bit more convenient, and also provides an easy source of a little bit of extra rewards there. I would recommend saving gold up for the Decathlon, because the Decathlon not only provides a little bit of rewards as you progress through it, you can use the gold to buy TCs to build whatever kind of strategy you need to go further along in the tower, and continue working towards the final prize of the Decathlon, which is the exclusive school pets that you can't find anywhere else in the game: Life Hamster, Storm Hamster, Fire Hamster, Death Hamster, Myth Hamster, Balance Hamster, and Ice Hamster. I definitely recommend saving up your gold and checking out the bazaar, as not only can you sell items to get more gold while you're there, you can also look at all kinds of items, whether it's gear or decorating items or even treasure cards. You can look through and you can find anything you need on one centralized spot, and you're able to sell whatever extra gear that you have that you don't need to get more gold, and while you're there you can shop for whatever it is you're looking for, as the #1 hotspot shopping center for Wizard101. While there is no true banking system in Wizard101 that allows you to store your gold, so if you ever reach max gold, there is nowhere you can safely put it to keep getting gold. However, players have came up with the system of buying and selling empowers. By buying and selling the valuable treasure card empowers to the bazaar, you're able to spend that extra gold that you don't need, but you have too much of, to get empowered treasure cards. You can then sell those empowered treasure cards whenever you need to get a fair bit of your gold back, which allows for kind of a conversion type of storage for your gold. If you haven't already, I definitely recommend you check out the Crown Shop and buy a permanent mount with gold. There are lots of different mounts you can choose from that can be bought with gold that provide a unique style to your wizard and that 40% speed boost. As you rank up in crafting and you're able to craft more valuable recipes, a lot of the reagents you need to craft these recipes can be found throughout the game. However, a lot of them you're able to buy from different reagent vendors around the spiral, so it's definitely worth saving up a little gold and taking a look at any reagents you need to buy for recipes that you're trying to craft. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. I think that gold is a very interesting concept in Wizard101, and there are a lot of different uses for it, so hopefully you found this video helpful in any way. Even if you knew all the stuff, hopefully this video was entertaining to you in some shape or form. If you have any tips on how you like to use, spend, or manage your gold in Wizard101, or if you have any ways that you easily make gold, make sure to comment that down below, because you never know who's going to see it and who can use it to help them manage their gold better in Wizard101. But that's all I got for you guys today, so until my next video, I'll see you guys. White Tiger 93 out.